Don't jog, Russell. Gotta be an all-out sprint, Jack. Gotta be an all-out sprint. Gotta go. Gotta sprint. We're in bad shape, Robert. Jonah, you get everybody out of line going here. Go, Bernie. You gotta get up there, Bernie. Don't jog, Russell. Russ, don't jog. Wow, fellas. We always tell the kids, if you make it through conditioning, we feel you deserve to be part of the program, and we don't cut. We've been fortunate to, being a school the size we are, that we haven't had to cut, but there may come a time where we have to. But for now, we're able to sell them on, if you can make it through that 2 or 3 weeks, you deserve to be part of this season. And so it hasn't been so much that kids have quit as much as it's been kids have decided not to go out because of it.
I mean, I always go back to Johanna. When he said his first workout at Wyoming, he said he had kids passing out, throwing up, and he was fine. He goes, if I didn't ever go through the basketball though, he goes, mentally I could not have done that. He goes, physically I could get through it, but mentally there was no way I could have done that.
It's awful. I can't sleep the night before. I just kind of lay there, just terrified of what's coming.
Like Tino talks about all the time, how there's nobody in the state getting up at 6 in the morning, the third week of October, preparing for practice, which doesn't start for 2 or 3 more weeks. And we do it. We don't do it after school. We're in the gym at 6 and we're getting to work right away.
It's easy to give up. It really is. I mean, kids don't understand what, it's so easy to quit. And the kids that don't are the grinders and the guys that are going to make it. So,
well, one of the objective is we want kids to be able to play at an effort and level that they don't think they can get to. And a lot of our season, in the style of which we play, you have to get kids to buy in. And so we feel that the preseason conditioning is a mind over matter thing. You definitely have to have the right mindset to get through it all, and it's designed to be that way. But our kids have done a really good job of getting through that, and it's not always easy, but that's always our goal. We don't always make it there. Like I said, Jonah had the injury that held him up, but it took him maybe a couple weeks longer than he wanted to be in great shape. But I think he got there as time went on. But our goal going into that's what we want to have done when we get done with those 3 weeks of conditioning.
If they show up to the first day conditioning, then they want to be a part of something special in their eyes.
I told myself it would be worth it in the end. We had a great group of guys this year, and I knew that they could do anything they put their minds to, and I just kept the end goal in mind the entire time. Get to Lincoln, get to Pinnacle Bank Arena, and it would all be worth it.
I know what I'm working for, and that's working for a state championship and hopefully an opportunity to play in March at the Pinnacle.
I mean, these guys will literally do anything to get themselves on the floor to represent GICC and what Crusader basketball is all about.
They make you pay for it.
You younger guys that are doing this for the first time, okay, saddle up to people so I don't want Dominic and Myron, not all the juniors and seniors go to one lane line and send all the you young guys intermix with the older guys on the lane lines here when we get started, okay, and help, okay. It's more mental than it is physical, fellas, okay? It is more mental than it is physical. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's an easy thing to get through. It's not easy, okay? But don't let your mind, okay, get yourself thinking that you're more fatigued than you are, okay? It's mind over matter, Trent. Mind over matter. Go. Pilot, get up. What are you doing way behind everybody? Jump, jump. Hey, anybody that likes to waste the stage got no toughness. They're finesse, Eli.
Jacob, how you feeling, really? Yeah. That's exactly how I feel. What do you? I feel like I'm gonna myself if I start running again.
6 o'clock in the morning. Run. It's what we do all the time.
Yeah, I knew we could be a pretty good team this year. I think we had like all the pieces. We had Meyer coming back. We had me. We had Jacob, Jack, Andrew, everyone coming back. Russ coming in as a freshman. I knew we had a good team coming into conditioning.
Going into the season, we had high expectations, and in our program we always do, but I think this group set those expectations by how they played in the summer and how they were committed. And so going into the preseason, once we made it through football healthy, we had high expectations for the group.
I felt like we were good enough, talented enough to win a state championship for sure.
I remember Tino calling Jonah out for missing the first week of practice, or first week because of an ankle injury, and then also Tino actually challenging Jonah to lose 15 pounds.
Yeah, he probably took a little more verbal needling than the average guy for not being in shape.
Yeah, I heard about it. Because everyone else is in a kind of full week of it, so they're all a week ahead of shape. And then I didn't really condition that much for football because of my ankle, so I was like probably a good solid month behind everyone else.
You know, missing those week of conditioning and then struggling when everybody else was starting to get over the hump hurt, because he was one of our leaders and he was so gassy he couldn't say a word. I mean, we'll just leave it at that.
I think we got there. You know, Jonah was a little behind because, you know, he had the injury from football. We couldn't get him in shape fast enough. But I think everybody else got there. Our goal is to be in the right physical condition, the right mental condition for the first practice to start, so we don't have to take time of during practice chasing lines and getting in shape.
So that's, you know, we were looking for leaders, and just that we could hit the ground running. You know, first day of practice, we knew we could go 2.5 hours and not be exhausted.
Start the season, we were worried about depth. We didn't know where that was going to come from, and quickly Andrew Herbeck and Eli Perney and Peyton Court stepped up and solidified that 6th, 7th, and 8th guy for us. And we felt our strength was going to be the fact that we were going to be really balanced scoring-wise.
Weakness was leadership.
Yeah, I mean, Jonah was always kind of probably been the leader of that class as far as it comes natural to him, maybe a little more than others. Maybe not vocally as much as it does just by example. He plays so hard and practices so hard and approaches everything in the right way. So I think he was a natural leader. Over time, Myra became a little bit better leader. Dominic Friesen, for not having a big role on game day, was a pretty big leader for us as far as he took things very quick. I mean, he learned them in an instant. I mean, he had a photographic memory, I would think. And so I thought he did a nice job, and maybe that was a surprise we weren't expecting. The first thing was it's just a hard group to get to communicate. I think you know from being around us all year that was the thing we harped on from start to finish. It just doesn't come naturally to this group, so that was always going to be a hurdle we were trying to overcome with this group.
It's pretty hard because like I'm not a very vocal guy. I'm not like I just don't like talk very much. So it's kind of hard to try to be the vocal guy when you're not him. I don't know.
You know, you're gonna have interviews with these guys and talk to them. They don't really like to talk as much, and they get a little awkward when they're talking. So leadership of somebody leading, somebody, a voice to follow other than a coach, you know, wasn't around.
on the floor, the leadership wasn't great, but in the practice, back to Jonah, he was a good practice leader. We just didn't have in-game leadership on the floor.
And we've talked about this as a coaching staff, and it's just hard for kids in this day and age to be a vocal leader. You don't see that a lot anymore on the floor. And at times, I think that showed with our team.
With the exception of 12 high school basketball teams. Okay, I'm assuming the only ones probably not at full strength at practice tonight are the 12 teams playing in the state football playoffs, right? So with the exception of 12 football teams, okay, every team in the state is going to practice today. Every team in the state is going to practice today. Okay? Of those teams, there's going to be a small number that get anything accomplished. Okay? It's just a fact. There's going to be a small number that get anything accomplished. Okay? There's going to be even a smaller number. Okay, I would say less than 1 or 2% of the teams practicing tonight are going to have good ones. Okay? A really great practice. Okay? We have to be in that 1%. Okay? We have to be in that 1%. Okay? So that's going to take, Myra, what do you think?
Communicating.
That's going to take that. What else?
Energy.
Yeah, what else?
Chemistry.
Yeah, what else, Jonah? Yes, what else, Jonah? Huh? Competitiveness. What you got, Jairus? Toughness.
Discipline.
Discipline. It's going to take leadership. It's going to take leadership. It's going to take urgency. It's going to take our captains making sure we're where we need to be. Doesn't always have to be just the assigned captain tonight, but it's going to take all that to be in that 1% of somebody that has a great practice tonight. We got to make sure GICC is one of those teams. Okay? Begin with the end in mind. Where do you want the season to end, Jack? Second Saturday in March on Pinnacle Bank Arena floor, right? Okay, so everything we do when you think, oh God, why is he making us do this? Or, I just didn't talk that one time and he caught me, now he's making me run. Okay? Begin with everything we do, begin with that in mind. And that's why there's a price to pay. We make you pay on a daily basis, okay? Because we have the end in mind, right? All right, fellas, frustrating in a lot of ways. Here's the biggest frustration I have right now is, well, let's just see if you guys figure it out here. What adjustment did they make after halftime? Why did they do that?
So we couldn't handle.
Why did they do it? Saw blood in the water. You guys had no courage up top. Had no courage. How many timeouts, how many turnovers did we have from up top? I mean, yeah, there were some things, Meyer, you guys got to flash from behind in that. You can't just go up there and try to post the high post guy. But, I mean, we need to get the ball across half court one time. That wasn't big impression. A lot of things, there's a lot of things that we have to improve on, got the film, to study from. It's disappointing the fact that midway through that third quarter, I can see it on your faces that we weren't going to compete our way back into this thing. I saw a lot of scared faces in the huddle. That's not a good feeling. Okay? Regardless of what's going on the floor, we always got to play with toughness and courage. Toughness and courage, and it didn't take place. It's a tough one to swallow. We don't have a lot of stuff in, fellas, and we're having a hard time executing. We hardly have anything in, and you guys, part of it is, though, we're back to not one person is taught when we say, run this, no one looks to the other guy and say, this is what we're in. That's an ongoing problem that we have to solve now. But I'm saying, for as little as we have in, there should be no confusion. No confusion in it. And boy, we just, deer in the headlighted it out there in the second half. What did we score in the second half? 10? 13 points in the second half. It was about the worst opening night I can remember. In the 5 years I've been the head coach, and the 10 previous to that I was the assistant. I just don't ever remember laying an egg like that. That was my fault. Clearly, our zone attack was not where it needed to be on opening night. We definitely weren't surprised by anything Lincoln Lutheran did. We just didn't have a good night. For Howard and I talked about it, we laid an egg. We just weren't ready to play. And second half, we had 17 turnovers, which is uncharacteristic for us. So all the way around, it was a bad night, and I've never have been part of another opening night like that in the Crusader program.
For a while, we had the game under control, I thought. So I was like, yeah, this is exactly how I expected it to go. And then things just kind of fell apart, and that kind of shook me a little bit. I was like, wait, that really just happened?
The biggest difference was Jack didn't make a point. He shot, he just didn't make anything.
And Jack was his first game back from his back injury. I think he went 0 for 5, and I don't think his comfort level ever got to a good point on the floor.
I honestly just, the first half, I thought we'd run away with it, but foul trouble kind of limited us, and we played guys in positions they weren't used to playing right away. And there again, our leadership. They started snowballing, and nobody put their foot down and said, we're going to stop this. They just allowed it to happen.
We had like 26 turnovers maybe, I remember that. We just weren't playing Crusader basketball. It's kind of what I remember. We were kind of being soft. They out-rebounded us in the first. They out-rebounded us that game. We had too many turnovers. We weren't getting matched up. We weren't talking.
We kind of saw Lincoln Lutheran as a wake-up call because on the paper we were supposed to beat them. In our minds we know that we could beat them, but we choked. And we knew that we couldn't mess around, and we got to get going. We got to start clicking fast.
You never want to say a loss is a good loss. That's not what I mean by this, but it was a good eye-opener for our kids, and I felt like it changed the way we approached everything.
We were definitely a beatable team. We were not superhuman by any stretch.
So I think after that, we kind of realized that we're not as good as we think we are, and we still have a lot of work to do before we're ready for where we want to be.
13 points in the second half. A lot of it is We just got to have, we talked, it takes two things. It takes courage against, it also takes skill. We talk about having courage and the skill to complete passes. Complete passes so you can ball fake and skip, right? I don't know that we skipped it one time today. So it takes a lot of things coming together. Henry, you got to overcome whatever it is that holds you back from competing. Whatever it is, you have to do that. I want you to do it, but I can't will it for you. You got to be willing to compete. Sometimes it's a matter of saying, I don't care what else happens, but you are not scoring in the manner you want to score tonight. And we couldn't find a matchup for you because you were letting whoever you were guarding score in the manner in which they wanted to score. And some of that is just digging down deep and compete. I mean, and I don't know, maybe I'm rusting, but I've told you since the day one of practice, you're our X factor. If you don't play with some degree of toughness, it's going to be hard on us. Okay?
Let's not forget on the way there, Russ, there was a coin toss before the game. So I mean, that set the tone, I guess you could say. We had a kid that thought there was a coin toss before.
No, that never happened.
It never happened?
Nope. Yeah, that actually happened. You can ask Jay-Z on it, anybody.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. I just remember he thought we had a coin flip.
They all say it happened, it never happened. No, it happened. He knows it happened. He knows.
I'll tell you, if you want to know, anything about anything, ask Russ. And perhaps my favorite Russ Martinez quote was, "Guys, coin toss, we're going to accept or defer." So I think that won't be lived down until he's 25.
We were riding up, and he goes and he asked me, he's like, when's the coin toss? And we're just like, I don't think there's a coin toss. And he's like, really? What do you guys do before the thing when you guys huddle up? We're like, we don't flip a coin. I don't recall saying that ever.
Well, I leave earlier than the varsity boys. The varsity boys come down with Jay-Z afterwards, so after school. So I'm down there already, and Jay-Z walks in the gym and says, "Hey, I don't have a good feeling about Russ." I was like, "What happened?" He goes, he wants to know if we're kicking off or receiving, if we're deferring to the second half, if we win the flip. And so, again, that's part of Russ just not feeling the moment. He's just kind of there. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Got the probably, was indicative of how the night was going to go. Really, after you sit back and look at it, we laid an egg on that part too.
He's clueless on life.
Jay likes to make up a lot of things.
Russ also thinks that aliens lived here first, and we are like the aliens, and the aliens are in caves because of us.
Oh yeah, that's true though. We pushed them underground. That's why their eyes are so big. Some of them come up.
You wonder why we didn't have leadership. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Russ is a little off the hook, He likes to talk about aliens before a game, but nobody ever knows what they're talking about because, the aliens put up the Christmas lights before the Minden games. Like, aliens? What aliens? It's like, oh no, wait, it was the Chinese people. There's so many of them. They did it in 10 minutes. It's like, Russ, what are you talking about?
Russ is just,
I don't know how we came up with those ideas, but just let him be him.
I remember telling Brian Gallagher on the radio after our sub-district final against Adams Central, he says, well, Russ hit some big shots. What can you say about Russ? And I said, for a kid that's 14 or 15, Russ just doesn't get rattled. Nothing bothers him. He's just, got the same mentality and same attitude, whether it's practice, in the hallway or game time. He's just real easygoing and focused. And that's rare this day and age for a kid that's a freshman in high school.
Well, a lot of people going into this season, a lot of people were asking about that, and this summer he played so well, and I think as you were around him more this season, you kind of realized he didn't feel pressure. I don't know if I want to call him amazing or weird that way. He doesn't maybe understand the moment as much as he should, or he just doesn't feel pressure, and so that's a benefit when you're playing as a freshman. If you can just play in the moment and not really feel it any different than if you're playing in practice, and and Russ kind of had that knack, and so we knew he had the ability to really shoot the ball and was going to stretch the floor for us, but I guess the mental part of it came easy for him.
2 nights later, when we played a more athletic, way bigger North Fork Catholic team.
That was where Eli showed up. I mean, Jacob, this should not be shocking, but Jacob was in foul trouble, and Eli showed up. He was giving up maybe 200 pounds, a pair of ribs, and I don't know what I mean. That kid was big, and then they had another kid that was just same size as him, and Eli battled the whole time, and that's when we learned that we can really trust Eli.
And I think if you put two and a half Eli's together, he might weigh what Piper weighs. So and Eli did a great job. I mean, I think Jacob was in foul trouble early there, and Eli was just kind of thrown into it. And
He was pretty big. He was a giant. He was strong.
That kid actually has Division I offers now for football. Perney held his own. If I remember right, Jacob probably got in foul trouble that game, and Eli battled his butt off against, they had 2 big guys that were about 260, 270, 280, and he held his own.
Oh, what a relief it is, right, Jonah? Huh? Hey, fellas, the long arm of the law in the house in the old gym, the long arm of the law. Huh? Really good job, Perney. Huh?
Perney.
How long have I been asking you to get a pulse? Okay, and all it did is take the 8th wonder of the world to get you to have it, huh? That was a heck of a job, Perney. I think we went on a big stretch there. We won some big games, played really well. I think it took us about a quarter and a half against North Fork Catholic to hit our stride, and once we did, I mean, it was for about a month straight. We were just lights out. The long arm of the law, take us home.
Thank you, Lord, for letting us win today and no one getting hurt. Help us win next week. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Mary, Queen of Victory, pray for us.
Hey, good win, fellas, good win. Okay, here we go. Crusaders on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Steady.
Here's Martinez, catching fire. Yes, sir! Peyton Court with his second 3 in the first half. And one at the other end. Blocked by Elmira.
You think Jonah Bales is important for this team? Holy cow.
Here comes Scotus down the lane. Big swat by Perney. Now deep in the corner. Court fires. That's a 3. Takes it to the other end. Jams it home. Sails in with the offhand. Flips it in with the left hand. Nice play by Elijah Perney. Elmira will sail in and gets it done. Gearing catching fire. There's the 3 he's been looking for. Gearing swings it out. Martinez tries the 3. Yes, he did. Court catching fire 3. Hit it. Don't give up on it even if something bad happens. Just stayed with it. Got the 6 back.
Yeah, he's making a lot of plays here. Nearly going.
Beat it to the right side. Gearing wants the 3. Got his second 3 to go down. Down the lane, hesitates, throws it up off balance, and got it. Got his man elevated, able to lean in and kicks it outside. Court fires, 3 is good.
Yeah, Lincoln Christian. I went and scouted them the Friday or Saturday night before we played them, and they beat Sutton by 40. Wasn't even a game. It was 73-33. And driving home, I'm thinking, holy cow, what are we going to do? We got to slow this guy up, that guy. And so the other thing I remember about that night is Howard. Man, he was in rare form at the end of the court. I think him and the referee had a couple different times got scoldings at one another. So that was a beautiful moment. I remember out of the corner of my eye. But
they had the Bubak kid, and he creates a lot of challenging matchups for a lot of teams. We decided to go big with Jacob Herbeck on him, and Jacob did a great job guarding him. I think he still maybe scored 11 on us, but it was a quiet 11. And we made them really work for everything. Their transition game was a very big part of their game, and we did a great job getting back.
Every time they came at us, we had an answer. We always kept that lead at about 10 points, and that's what good teams really do on the road in a tough environment. Things weren't going our way. We were in foul trouble, and every time they'd make a little run, we answered, and we answered it in a big way.
I mean, I felt like the game took like 4 hours to get through. I mean, there were so many highs and lows in that game. I felt like we'd build a 10-point lead, they cut it to 2. I don't know what it feels like to be a boxer, but I felt like that. And I was on the sideline, but I felt like that's what it feels like.
Jack really stepped up the game. It was one of his probably better games of the season. He had one of the first games he started hitting all the shots. He started making everything. I think we just really played well as a team that game.
And we're able to persevere on the road, which was a great win for our program in a time where we hadn't really had that, maybe that type of win since Boone Central 2 seasons before that in sub-districts.
Jack was hurt through the summer, you know, and he hadn't played a game, a real game, since March. And he didn't really practice or play at all in the summertime. So to get his shot back it took some time. Once he got back into the rhythm, I think our team started flowing because it took some pressure off of Russ and Myra, a couple of those guys that need to score. So just getting Jack, getting his legs under him and getting the shot back, I think made a huge difference.
We were beating people by 20, 30 points about every given night, good teams that made to the state tournament. So I definitely think we hit our stride right away. It's just, I guess we had to get over that opening night. And we talked this morning about the small percentage of teams that are going to play well today on their first day back. Some people played yesterday. Okay? St. Cecilia, I was there. They were one of them small percentage teams. They played lights out yesterday. Okay? It didn't surprise me one bit. Okay? Now we need to be in that same type of category. Okay?
Yeah, I felt like our chemistry was really good as a team. I felt like once we got that over that first loss, we knew, okay, well, there goes the perfect season. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can just worry about us. We can focus on us and getting better and winning the next game. It gave us a lot of confidence to go into some really tough games and really tough places and get the job done.
I mean, you got Northwest in there, you got Donovan in there, Kearney Catholic, Adams Central, David City Aquinas. You know, of those 7 teams, probably 5 or 6 of them had winning records.
Definitely 7 games in 17 days with all those styles of play. That was a taxing time period for us.
Who's house? Our house. Who's house? Our house. What do we do? Win. What? Win. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
It's not fun. It's like the worst. I get those teams mixed up during that time so bad because of watching so much film on watching this team, getting their plays, getting their sets, getting their calls. Now moving on to this game. Now moving on to this team. We haven't played this team yet, so now I'm like, wait a second.
Well, it definitely gets tiring. It's a tough stretch during the season. I mean, you got to make sure you be able to fight through fatigue because it's going to get to you at some point.
It really wears you down after a while because, I mean, it's better than practicing probably playing the games, but after a while you play so many games, your legs get tired. You're getting tired from having to study scout reports, studying film every night.
That's the hard part, I think, on the coaching end of it is preparing for each style in a short fashion. And you also have to be conscious of the fact that we're playing so many games, so we can't go 2 hours. We can't go an hour and 45 at practice. We got to be short and sharp, but we got to be precise because the game is a game of details, and who can execute those details the best usually ends up winning. And
that's tough for kids to digest that. Plus I got homework and Russ has got Fortnite. He's got to play till 3 in the morning. And, it's just a lot of things to take in.
Jay-Z and Tino do a great job of film work and scout report, game preparation.
Whether or not you're sitting in the stands or you're videoing it or whatever, or the parents watch whatever, the kids are extremely prepared for every game that we play. We are so prepared on game day that we shouldn't lose any game, but you can't win them all.
And I think at one point we were 15-2 against our schedule. That was, I don't know that any coach after 17 games on the staff would have said, yeah, we're going to be 15-2. Like I said, against some of the top teams, C1, B, C2, week in, week out. I thought that was a real credit to our kids.
I think we got out of that thing with 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken, and that was to the eventual Class B state champion in York. So getting through that with 1 loss kind of is amazing when you look at the teams that are on that part of it.
We were in some tight ones. They found ways to win. They did what they needed to do. I mean, end of the year, they don't look at the game. It's not like college football where you played this team close opposed to this person. I mean, a win's a win, so we'll take them.
I don't know if you guys read any newspapers, World Herald, Journal Star, okay, by anybody's standards and by anybody's opinion, the best conference in the state, regardless of class, okay, is the one that you guys have the opportunity to compete in. Okay, it's a special thing. Friday and Saturday night at Lincoln Christian is a special thing, but we have to take care of step 1. Okay, step 1's tonight with Lincoln Lutheran. Okay. Well, a year ago, we probably had a poor taste in our mouth. We didn't play very well in our conference tournament a year ago, and we had a chance to play Lincoln Lutheran, who beat us in the conference tournament a year ago, and so played really well against them at home. Attacked their zone much better than we did on night 1, and defensively we were pretty sharp.
Really liked our draw. I was excited to get to play Lutheran again.
That was a revenge game, obviously.
We all thought we were going to play Boys Town, but then Lincoln Lutheran upset them. And once we knew Lincoln Lutheran, we had to play Lincoln Lutheran. Remember last time they beat us, and I think we were just like, we can't let this happen again, so we kind of put the chip on our shoulder, I'd say, and kind of dominated them in that game.
We dominated them from tip to buzzer, and it was a very impressive performance, I thought, watching from the bench, that I thought we could do it. We can win the Centennial Conference tournament.
Step 1 behind us. Okay, step 1 behind us. Step 2's big. Gonna have a great day of prep tomorrow. Sounds like it most likely Concordia. Okay, it's a 2-3 zone, Russ. Watch yourself on some film, please. It's not funny. Because if I can't trust you to do it, you might be doing it in my house tonight and sleeping out in the shed. It's not heated. My garage is. My shed's not. Okay? Huh? Watch yourself. I mean, you'll see what's open, okay? Got to become a better passer against the zone. Okay, Andrew, great job on the boards. When we were struggling, it was the difference in stretching us out. It was a great job. Okay? Played good defense, too. Okay? Hey, it was great. I mean, we were able to get the win without Myra. Oh, you were here tonight? You showed up? Okay, Jack, got some shots to go through the net. Felt good, looked good. Okay? Big opportunity for us Friday.
A lot of Warriors tonight. The Warriors were in this locker room, not in that locker room. And the guy that really stepped up was that guy right there.
Lutheran was a nice win. Omaha Concordia, they were a different team than what we've seen, but we really guarded them well.
We knew they were really fast. They like to score a bunch, and we knew they struggled with defense. So we really worked on making sure our defense was ready for that game. Because if we could stop them from scoring, they weren't going to be able to stop us. And I think we were really prepared for that game.
I mean, we played a great game defensively, and offensively we got any shot we wanted. And
I don't think people realize how good they really were. They'd beat Concordia during the year, Lincoln Christian. They had some big wins, Boys Town. And so that was a big win for us on a high-scoring team. We really, really defended them well, their ball screen stuff. They couldn't run what they wanted, so that was a big win for us. Okay, hey, fellas, good job. Put yourselves in a good spot. Second half, third quarter, defensively, we were really good. Gave up 6 points. Okay, that helped set the tone for the rest of the game. Okay, Jacob and Jonah, Myra, okay, really good defensively on those ball screens. Okay, really blew those up. Jacob did a nice low man. Okay. I think they had a few offensive boards in the first quarter, but I don't think they got many after that. I thought we hurt them, and I thought we hurt them on our end a little bit. I'll be interested to see the totals, but Jacob did a nice job getting in there. Jonah, okay, getting some offensive boards for us, okay? Now, tomorrow, okay, regardless of who we play, it's a quality team. We already know how good Lincoln Christian is, okay? And St. Cecilia's right there, too. Last time these guys played, it's a one-point game, so we could play either one. We were prepared for either one, okay? We'll put in the game plan in the morning, okay? And we got to be able to execute on short turnarounds.
We didn't have a good practice before the St. Cecilia game. We were sloppy, we weren't ready, and then I think it showed on the court. We had some game details we didn't execute. We didn't knock our shots down. I think they kind of punched us in the mouth when they got and played physical with us. We just probably weren't ready for it yet, and it kind of showed.
And then, I just didn't think we gave ourselves an honest chance against St. Cecilia in the final. I think we got in so much foul trouble early.
Jacob got 3 fouls within 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then Eli got in there and he got 2. So our big guys were just all over the place.
I know that was my best game. Jack came out to play, but I don't think everyone else came to. They weren't ready as Jack was. I think that was our problem.
A lot of that probably wasn't, on us as much as it was maybe some tough calls that we took from the referee side of it, but we didn't respond well to that either. You're going to have nights where you have calls go against you. I'd like to respond better than we did.
The style of defense that we would really like to play is a lot more aggressive. I mean, we had to back it off a little bit this year, but we're man-to-man defense, and a foul is a foul. I understand all that, but when we are taken out of our game almost immediately, it just in a championship game that really shouldn't happen.
And I think it was a 10-point game at halftime, and our kids just had a look. And there was a feeling in the locker room that I just hadn't felt all year, the first 17 games, that I thought, okay, it'll be interesting to see how we respond. And then foul trouble-wise, we never did recover. And I thought our kids did a good job of coming back and making it a 15-point game. It could have been a 25 or 30-point game, as good as St. Cecilia was this year.
They were up for the drag it out. We weren't that night. And again, foul trouble hurt us, like almost a lot of the games that we had troubles in. But, I mean, they were more ready for it than we were.
All right, well, that's disappointing. There's nothing we can do about it now. We got to flush it. I want you guys to think about this thought as we move forward here with the day off tomorrow and into Monday. Okay, one is you're entering, every opponent's going to be like that from the rest of the season. There's no nights off. Okay? The other thing is, I'm not questioning anybody's effort. I think we play hard. There's a difference between giving effort and competing. And what we did in that second quarter was lay down like a whipped puppy dog and took it. Starting with you, Myra. If you would have played anything like you did in the third quarter in the first half, it would have been a game at halftime. I think he took one shot in the first half. Two. He got bumped on that one. He was done playing. And that's just a fact, Myra. That's not an opinion. I mean, if I'm wrong, anybody, you guys speak up and tell it. That's just what it was. You just didn't go. You didn't. I mean, Jack was the only guy we had in the first half willing to shoot the ball. I mean, Jacob had foul trouble, so couldn't really tell on him, but I mean, that's just the plain out fact. I mean, if that's how we're going to have from one of our best players in big games, I mean, it's going to be tough for us. It's going to be tough for us. And then the rest of you guys, I mean, it's decision making, it's fundamentals, at that point we have Lexington, Wahoo, we have St. Cecilia again, we have Winnebago, and then we ended with St. Paul. During that stretch, the only disappointing loss we had was Lexington. I don't think we weren't ready to compete that night. We let them dictate all the momentum of the game, dictate the pace of the game, dictate the style of play, and we weren't tough enough mentally or physically that night to put a stop to it. And that loss is one that hurts. That one and the opening night loss to Lutheran were the two that I thought, you know, if we had a redo, I think those two would come out different.
You didn't get to see that game, did you? We don't have any Lexington highlights. I mean, I just want to know real quick. I'm sitting up in the corner of Lexington. Their gym is big. Sitting up there, and all of a sudden, our locker room door busts open, and there's like Jack and those guys all running up to me. And I'm like, I thought somebody got hurt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that was funny. That was awkward.
Oh yeah. Fortunate. I wonder what happened there.
That was a good moment. That was pretty funny. I felt so bad though.
I was gonna sit there, but I saw everyone else leave, so I was like, oh, I probably should just leave with them.
They all ran out.
They all ran. They said they were scared of you.
They cleared out that locker room. Like, I've never seen some of those guys run so fast.
Jacob just practiced some ball handling in the locker room, between the legs and everything. And then, I mean, for some reason he decided the little Lexington sign above the door, he decided that would be the basketball hoop. Well, there was like a camera underneath there, so he dribbles, did a layup, smacks the camera, he turns, he's like,
Jacob broke the camera for the game.
Oh no, it was funny when it happened because the Euro step, he dunked against the wall, just landed on the camera. I was like, it was there. I could have said something, but I was like paused at the moment, and then when he crashed it, I felt bad afterwards. Like it was pretty bad, but it was funny too.
Jacob dunked or something in the locker room. Yeah, what was he doing? Dunking or blocking a shot or something?
Went up to dunk the ball on the wall and then just landed on the camera, you know? You can't do that. You need the highlights. Jeremy's gonna be out of a job with no camera.
I didn't realize the camera was over there, so I came down on something I didn't know what it was. I actually thought it was a whiteboard at first. I thought it was one of the coach's whiteboards. I was like, oh crap, Tino's gonna kill me. Then I looked down and saw what it was, and I thought, oh crap, Jeremy's gonna kill me. And so are my parents.
Jacob was just on his face like.
I thought you were gonna get mad, and then Tino was gonna get all mad, and it was gonna be this chaos before the game started.
As soon as Tino walked in, we knew it was gonna go down, and then saw the reaction on your face, and Jacob was he was speechless. He didn't know what to do. Just looked like he murdered a cat or something.
Yeah, we thought you were gonna go crazy, so we all left really fast.
But we were also concerned for Jacob's safety and well-being at that point in time. No, not really. We weren't gonna defend him.
Yeah, nobody had his back.
So that's why there's no film from that game. Which is, I mean, we lost, so I guess Jacob must have saw something coming.
I still think we should have let it roll that Mike Herbeck owed $5,000 for the camera. Okay, you can achieve your goals if you look around the room, okay, and you're willing to lay on a line for everybody else in here. Okay? So let's get her done, fellas. Here we go. I wasn't sure how our kids were going to respond the next day against Wahoo. I guess that's the other benefit to our schedule. I mean, if you don't have a short-term memory, you're going to get lost in your own sorrows. And so we couldn't feel sorry for ourselves. We just had to get back in a frame of mind where we're ready to compete.
So I think that morning practice we had before Wahoo was probably one of the better practices of the year. We focused, we were talking the entire time. And I think it really showed versus Wahoo. We just had too many turnovers and we shot ourselves in the foot on offense and little defensive breakdowns.
Myra was outstanding, and Jonah defensively held one of the best players in the state to very little, and it was an impressive outing.
It's a 2-point game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We had a foul down the stretch, end up losing by 10 to the eventual state champion. And so that one I wasn't as concerned with. I thought we did some really nice things defensively. We attacked their zone at times pretty good.
That one hurt a lot for the fact that they dedicated the gym for Shoe that night. That was a win that you really wanted. But also, it kind of wanted to, we had that loss the night before, lost to St. Cecilia, and we kind of wanted people to know that we are one of the top teams in C1.
We lost 4 in a row. I thought we played poorly in 2 of them and played well in the other 2. And so I thought the important thing to stress to our players and coaches was we can't panic and we can't act like the season's over just because we went on a stretch where we didn't win.
We knew we were playing really, really good basketball. We needed to be a little bit better.
First things first, focus from the get-go. Focus from the get-go. Okay? Now I can't do this.
Can you do it?
Hey.
What's going on?
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. You both are going to have to leave here for me.
What's funny?
Because they're idiots. I mean, they just don't get it. I mean, they maybe lose my train of thought.
Big game tonight.
Don't back down. Go right at it. Don't back down. Okay? Got that, Wasso? I'll tell you guys, here's what it is. Jeremy wanted to know my best sayings. I was like, I don't know him. I don't know him until you guys make fun of me, but I guess I say okay a lot at the end of sentences.
You guys ever catch him say K?
So now I've said it like 3 times in there, and so they win, basically.
I got over under 115 in pregame.
All right, let's get after
We're
it
at
here.
3 right now.
Okay, Myra.
St. Cecilia. St. Cecilia. He said it right away, and he's like, I can't do this now.
I didn't notice it until you and Jay-Z started laughing in the locker room during pregame. You guys mentioned it, and I was like, oh, geez, he does say it a lot.
Every time I'd say it, I'd catch myself. So that was. I wish you guys wouldn't have pointed that out, okay? Because it was. It's a habit I got to break. I'm gonna work on that in the next 8 months.
There's no way. He'll say K the rest of his life.
Okay. 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 A box. Okay. I mean, if you make up the perimeter as a player they have as far as attacking from the perimeter on the drift. Okay. 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 Jack, okay. 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 Okay.
I know that a couple certain coaches who are going to remain nameless were documenting this district final against Kearney Catholic. I may or may not have had to leave the locker room a few times to keep from laughing when somebody was doing some motions and trying to make light of the situation.
Hey, it wasn't me that was counting; it was Jay-Z. So, Jay-Z, I'm sorry.
How much I'd say it? What was the over/under?
It's 75 or 76 or something like that, and you were way over.
Really?
Yeah,
God, I'm
you
disappointed in myself.
97.
Holy cow! Look at that. I tried to mentally make a change, and I couldn't do it.
It was 94, by the way.
Next year, it's not. I'm telling you, I'm not going to use it. I might use it occasionally. It's not going to be my go-to.
There's no way. He'll say Kate the rest of his life.
It's going to be a tough game. You can't have no mistakes. You can't be poor defensively. We got to make sure we execute our stuff on offense, all right? Who's house? Ours! Who's house? Ours! Win! Win! Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate!
I think we were a 4-game losing streak at the time. I could have felt some doubt throughout the team.
Our kids are pretty mentally tough kids, and they have to put up with a lot during the year, and they have to go through a lot mentally and physically. And I think, a lot of teams wouldn't have been able to handle that losing streak, and people would have panicked, and teams would have panicked. But I thought our kids handled that really well.
We needed a win. We'd been through like 4 or 5 straight losses. Needed to get our confidence back. Needed to get moving again.
I don't want to say the Winnebago game at the event center was a must-win, but I think for our kids, mentally they needed that on a big stage to prove that they could beat a team who ended up, going down to the wire with Wahoo in the state championship game. So
we needed to win that game, like Heartland Event Center. They hadn't won a game there. I haven't won a game there in my first 2 years, so we really needed to win that game.
I think we executed more on offense. We didn't turn the balls over as much, and I think our defense has always been there all season. It's just that a few minor breakdowns every once in a while, but I think our offense versus Winnebago clicked, and we just didn't turn it over as much. We executed better.
I think it really helped the mindset of the team to be aggressive in front of a lot of fans. And I think it was good for them to get the opportunity to play the #1 team at the time in Winnebago, and I think beating them really helped their confidence going into the end of the season.
Yeah, up until the very end, we were up by like 15 or more the whole game, and that felt good.
Yeah, it was a good one for us. Russ, it felt like he couldn't miss that game. That was pretty amazing. It felt nice to get that win.
First of all, he drove all the way home from Wyoming in a snowstorm for you guys at this guy.
And never shut up.
And when I talk about
In a good way.
when I talk about how special our place is at Central and how special our program is, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, he drove 6.5 hours and was going to drive home in a snowstorm.
You guys kind of got a monkey off my back too. Those guys beat us in state, so I've been holding on to it for a while. So it feels really good.
He drove back in the middle of the night to get back. Yeah, in fact, I had to call him and tell him to leave earlier because he was going to wait and drive through the night. So we called him and told him to get on the road and beat the snowstorm back. And but he remembers the 69-63 loss we had in the semifinal. And so he told our kids after the game that win was for him because we got even with him for him. So that meant a lot to him. I mean, that big fella, he remembers stuff like that, and that's important to him. So we were happy to do that for him.
We played Winnebago, then we play St. Paul in the regular season, which is always a huge game. Obviously, it's bigger to them than it is to us.
Yeah, I don't really like St. Paul. They always say how they're our big rivals. They haven't beaten us forever, and it's just like, I don't know why. So I think every time we get a chance to kind of beat them bad, we take it.
Last game of the season, wanted to end it on a strong note, give us some momentum going into districts. So,
there's one game he wasn't in foul trouble. He didn't turn the ball over, and he was a man-child. I think he had 17 points, probably had close to 10 rebounds. I mean, he was unstoppable.
I met with Jacob the other day, and Jacob's numbers per minute of production, I mean, his production per minute was really good. It's just he was in foul trouble too much, and he was only playing about 14, 15 minutes a game. And so from about St. Paul on, Jacob was really good with his foul situation.
I expect it from myself. I don't know about everyone else, but I got to come to expect that every night out.
The end of the season really was a grind. I mean, I don't know how many other teams in the state had that kind of competition to play at the end. It was tough.
Good job defensively in the second half.
Really good.
Okay, I'm telling you, if we'd have started with that same, okay, I don't think they get to 20 all night. They only scored 14, I counted that layup at the end. Okay, a lot of good things, some things we got to get better at in a short time. Okay, in a short time. Okay, great opportunity for us here as we move into the postseason. Okay, 1 game guarantee left. We have 1 game guarantee left. Okay, so that's how we got to prepare. We talk a lot about preparation, not just playing. Okay, whoever shows up Tuesday just to play has probably already lost the game. They just don't know it yet. Okay, so we got to have great preparation on Sunday at 1. Okay, Monday after school, and then go in and take care of business on Tuesday. Put yourselves not in the position you want. You know, we had a couple slip-ups. That's fine. Played well here to go into the postseason. Okay, and we execute details like we did tonight. Just a couple blunders, right, Jack? Just a couple. Okay, not a lot. Just a couple. Okay, and look at the difference. Look at the difference. Okay, so pretty good job. Season starts Sunday at 1.
We knew who was on our side in the districts, and we knew who was on the other side. We had a good chance. We had a really good chance of getting the state.
Central City's better than what people gave them credit for. You know, that Wilson kid was a handful, but no, I mean, I felt that was going to be once we went on that win streak. It seemed to be that we took clear hold of the number 1 seed in the sub-district about first part of January. It looked like no one, unless we just totally fell off the face of the earth as far as wins and losses, no one was going to be able to catch us for a number 1 seed. So
I think there was a lot more focus. I think the early exit last year helped focus us for this year.
We'd beaten 2 of the 3 teams in our sub and 2 of the 4 on the other side of the district. So we felt good going into it. Liked the matchup against Central City.
I knew we were going to be playing Central City, so we started prepping, behind the scenes probably mid-January for Central City and getting to know their personnel and what they run so that we could be at the top of our game on that night.
And then also like the matchup coming out of Adams Central or St. Paul. Knew both teams could be tough.
Adams Central's tough. I think if we played them 10 times, we'd probably come out ahead most of the time, but I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay, these next 2 or 3 weeks are the funnest time to be around, okay, and still be playing. Okay, so I want you guys to enjoy the moment, and I want you to understand the moment. Okay, it's a big game for us. Okay, need to stay focused, detail-oriented. Okay, and I have no doubt we'll come out on top if that's the case. Okay, I believe it's truly one of those deals where it's in our hands, our fate, we control it. Okay, and if we do the things we can do, we're the better team.
We had to keep winning, and even though it wasn't the district final, if we lose, we're going home.
Yeah, I think on paper, everybody looked at that, and Coach Foster and I talked about that before the game. We felt it was the district final, not to take anything away from, at that time, Minden or Kearney Catholic, who gave us a very tough game on district final night. But we felt we were the 2 best teams in the district, and the winner of our game should, if they take care of business on the district final, would march on to state tournament. And so, yeah, I don't think there was any secret that people felt that way on paper. But as you know, you had to prepare for everybody and take care of business in a business-like fashion. So be focused, be able to execute your stuff, okay, when we need buckets. And be able to execute the defensive details to eliminate them from trying to steal 6, 8, 10 points on sets. Okay? And just be ready to go when you're called upon.
All I give is lit. I think that's probably one of the games I won't forget because it was a close one throughout the whole game.
Ball deflected out near mid-court, a scrum just past the center line. Coming up with it is Grand Island Central Catholic, and putting it away for the Crusaders, Myra Elmira with the slam. Shagru closing it to Hilgendorf. Backside block, Stona fails, does it again. Reached over the top of the defender, tapped into himself, gets it to Martinez, and he has a little redemption. Buries the dagger. Elmira off the inbounds play, fires and hits the 3! Myra Elmira goes long distance. Dump pass inside, fails! Strong to the basket, gets the score, his second basket of the night. Elmira kicks it to Gehring in the corner, and found by bottom. Jack Gehring going long distance. Then the Patriots try to get things going down inside, and there's an offensive foul. Gehring going to try a three. He's feeling it. Back-to-back threes by Jack Gehring. Here's Martinez off the screen. He fires a three and answers again.
Thank you, rebound, boys. Get the marching on.
Peyton Ford rotates in for Jack Gehring. Ford will go to the free throw line. Hasn't had many looks from the line, but we'll see if he can convert here. This is a 1-and-1. Free throw, no good. Herbeck gets the rebound off the glass. Jacob Herbeck with a huge stick back in traffic. And Grand Island Central Catholic survives again.
Get out there and take our student body right now. Here we go.
After the game, for some reason, I wasn't thinking straight, and I'm like, we made it to state, and I'm like, oh God, no, we didn't. No, I felt really stupid because we were like in the student section at that point. Everyone's looking at me, so that happened.
The teams that get to continue at this time of year are the teams that play the best, that play for one another. And I'm telling you, we played for one another tonight. And that's when it gets really fun. And on top of that, that's when teams get really good. I don't want to be the guy that plays this Monday. But I sure as the hell don't want to be the team that draws his first round in a couple of weeks.
You good?
Okay?
You good?
I lost my voice.
Dear Lord, thank you for this victory. We played hard. We had a few mistakes, but we were able to overcome it. Help us ready to prepare for Monday, and help us lead us in state, and hopefully get a championship. Hail Mary,
full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at the hour of death. Amen. Mary, be the victory, pray for us.
Crusaders on 3, 1, 2, 3. Crusaders!
Peyton comes in and shoots the free throw, misses it. Jacob gets the offensive rebound, the putback. I think he got fouled. That was the season right there.
Ooh, I came in, and then I was like, just knock these down. And once I missed first one, I was just like, oh no. But Jacob, gosh, he came up big for us. He saved my life. I was like hugging him after the game. I was like, oh my goodness, thank you. I was just, ooh.
Yeah, that moment right there, Jacob's always going to have his ups and downs. He sometimes just overthinks stuff, but it's great when he has his ups. His ups are so high. They're not just like, just a little thing. They're big ups, and that was such a big rebound and putback.
That solidified the season, really. Without him doing that and putting that shot in, who knows how the game turns out.
I didn't play my best game, but it was exciting, and I ended it pretty well, I guess. So.
Yeah, we won, and I was really happy at the end because that's probably one of the best games that we played.
Coaches often say we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of the season. Tonight we'll have two teams playing their best go head-to-head. The winner will lock up a spot at the C1 Boys State Tournament next week. This is Brian Gallagher as the KRGI Sports Network presents high school basketball. It's Grand Island Central Catholic and Kearney Catholic in the C1-5 Boys District Final at Hastings College. The Crusaders swept past the Stars back in January. The Stars have won 2 straight, while Central Catholic has won 4 in a row. Both teams are on a roll. The stage is set for a terrific game. We're glad you're with us.
The biggest thing I wanted to drive home, the point I was trying to drive home to him in that preparation time was you can't take them lightly. If we take them lightly, we're going to be having a conversation sooner than we wanted to be having an end of the season conversation. And so that was the biggest thing I wanted to drive home. I thought our game plan in the first game was good enough to where I think what we had to roll with in game 2. Their personnel was different. They were playing different guys than they did earlier in the year, and so that changed a little bit. But we were guarding their ball screens the same way. We were guarding the big guy the same way, and they had a hard time scoring against us. We didn't shoot it that well that night, or else I think that score could have got out of hand. We definitely didn't shoot free throws worth worth, we didn't shoot them very well that night, so that hurt us, and otherwise I think that margin would have been a bigger margin.
A team that you beat once, but much, much more improved.
Well, it's been a goal of mine ever since freshman year when I saw like that, my team, the senior class, like Johanna's class that freshman year, they were really made to stay. It was a big goal. I was like, I really wanted to have that feeling. I want to do that. I think we knew we were a better team than Kearney Catholic. We knew we could play with them, we could beat them. I think the big thing I was concerned about was like everyone getting lost in the moment. Like it's the district championship at Hastings College. I don't want like everyone getting like the star guy type thing. Because I knew we were a better team and we should win. I think the only team that would beat us that night would have been us.
I personally wanted the seniors to get there, especially Myra. All he's put in.
Every year, our goal is to get to state and make some noise down there, and they hadn't had that chance. We fell short a couple years with their sophomore, junior years, and it was just that moment. It's hard to describe, like on the standpoint of you just feel so great for those kids.
For the first time since 2015, Grand Island Central Catholic's boys will be in the state basketball tournament. They take down the defending C15 district champions, Kearney Catholic, by a final score of 46-34. The Crusaders improved to 20-6, and they're on their way to the C1 state basketball tournament.
I know that I'm going to have more teams until I decide not to do this anymore, but they have a limited number of these things that they're going to get a crack at. And so when we won, and to see the look on Myra's and Jonah and Andrew, Dom, I don't even know if he got in our district final or not, but he's grasping the district final trophy tighter than he wouldn't let that baby go, and he was so happy to get down there. So that's a relief for me to when those kids realize they finally accomplished that goal.
Oh, it felt great, because last year I was hoping that would be a year we make it to state, and I figured we could just build on that this year. It didn't happen, obviously, so to get over the hump and actually go to state, that felt really good.
It was a super cool feeling, finally being able to make it to state.
Felt really good to just, as a senior, be able to lift that up because I hadn't really been able to do that before. So,
the first thing I thought is we're going to Lincoln. That was amazing because the only time I'd ever been was when I was part of the pep band my freshman year and didn't get to really experience it to the best of my abilities, but it was still fun. That senior class was fun to watch, but I knew it was great for us to finally experience that as a team, and it was something we needed and had worked so hard for all season.
I was like, we finally did it. I finally got my net. It was a really good moment. It was really special. Like that's probably one thing I won't forget either.
And cutting those nets down at the end of the game just sealed it for me. I knew we were going to Lincoln, and we had a lot of work ahead of us, but it was going to be a lot of fun.
I want you guys to know, as much as I get on you, I love you just as much, okay? And the pride I have in you guys is unbelievable, and I wish I was intelligent enough to put it in the words where you could understand, but I'm not, so I'm going to stop at that.
Somebody asked me the other day if I'd be sad if you guys made the state and my team didn't, but I thought about it for a little bit, and I said no, not at all, because these guys are like family to me, so. And just everything that didn't go right last year, I mean, it was tough, but I'm so proud of you guys, like Jack, all you overcame, I didn't think you'd probably ever play again. After that injury, it was tough, and Myra, man, I don't know how, you're a freak, but Jonah, like, everything that is the Crusader is in you, so just enjoy it, guys. When I went to state, I didn't get to suit up, but got to practice with the guys and just make the most of it. It is probably one of the best weekends of my life.
Extremely proud of you guys. Understand that getting there was one part of the goal, but now let's go finish that goal. Let's go do what we want to go do down there and cut down some real nets, all right?
Hey, great job. Just another goal checked off. We have 3 more games. Okay, the countdown's on. Start with next Thursday. We'll move on. Okay, 3 more.
You guys we got 6 or 7 days to prepare for this one team, don't we? I mean, you guys prepare very well in a 2-day period or whatever. Now we got 6 or 7. We gotta absolutely snuff these guys out. Happy for all of you.
Extremely proud of you guys. You played well together all year, showed tonight, enjoy every moment of this, guys. Enjoy the ride the next 2 weeks. It's a special, special deal to get down to Lincoln. Give everything you got the next 2 weeks, and let's cut some more nets down.
Can we get a GoPro?
And Spot doesn't get one.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Class C1 State Tournament bound Central Catholic Crusader. Freshman number 12, Kobe Bale. Number 4, Russell Martinez.
I think this senior group typifies what Central Catholic basketball is. I don't know that this group, the 4 seniors, people expected much out of them. But you've got 4 tremendous young men there that gave us everything they had, and not only were great players in practice, but they were better people in the classroom and in the hallways.
Oh, extremely proud. I mean, they battled through everything. You look at Jonah, who's, we listed him at 5'10", but he's probably 4'9". He battles with all the bigs. Andrew Herbeck, shy, soft-spoken, and he was able to willing to get in there and scrap it for rebounds towards the end. And then Dominic Friesen, a kid that didn't go out for a year, and he was willing to come back and know what was coming to him. And then Myra, I mean, you think about his junior year to be able to come through that and come out on top. And that's special. They're 4 special kids that always have a place in our heart.
And I just thought, God, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now or with anyone else. This is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
And just great kids to be around day in and day out. And I'm extremely proud of what they accomplished and the whole team accomplished this year. To get down to Lincoln to be one of the final 8 teams in Class C1 is great every year. And you know, as I get older and as I coach more years, the destination state championship game wasn't where we ended up, but you just learn to enjoy the journey and the highlights along the way.
Peyton, where you at? Where'd Peyton go?
No way,
right
Peyton's
there.
laying down.
Come here. Present that to Peyton. It's his birthday. It's from your mom and dad.
Clap.
They wanted to...
Open that bad boy up.
Open it up. Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday and dodging raindrops.
Take state. What do you got to say about that, Peyton?
I don't know what to say. I got nothing.
I'm going to take some water ball.
As soon as a good take state, obviously. That's all.
I will, yeah.
Jack Gary's room.
Kind of walking here.
This is the guy that thought there was a coin toss before the game started. He thought Asians hung Christmas lights and were great at math. What's up?
I don't want Dominator.
Oh yeah, I want it. Hey, is it recording? Sweet.
Honestly, just to make Tino mad, we should give it to Tanner for like 30 minutes.
We on the. Where's the stairs? We going on room 39, 329, squad room. 329 crib. Yo, what's up, Russ? How's it going?
Yeah, what time are we going to eat?
I don't know.
Probably like 6
I don't know.
something. Russman, when you plugging?
Hang on, I'm busy.
I don't know.
You got it.
Oh, he's got the Xbox.
How we doing, Tanner?
Good.
Okay. How can you say, how do you think tomorrow's gonna go? Dilly? Dilly.
Then
Jonah?
you look at that itinerary, we got lunch, we got some free time, then we'll go get some pizza.
Oh, yeah?
We'll get some more free time.
Oh, yeah?
It's going to be a sweat.
Well, you got to get out of their mind early, and even for the coaches, it can be a tough obstacle for coaches. But we got to get out of their mind early that it's not a vacation. We're not going down there for someone's birthday party, or it's a business trip for us. We have to approach it as that. We have to prepare for it, and then we have to be able to execute it. And again, our kids are such goal-oriented kids and achieving type personalities that that's not hard to do. I thought we had, especially those 3 days of practice the week of the district final after we won. We got to work on ourselves again for the first time in a long time, and we had 3 really good practices. We got after it, we competed.
Tino and Rob, 2 Rain men who just sit there and study the numbers 24/7. So we actually knew about a week before that if the scenarios played out, that's who we'd get was Lincoln Christian, because Rain Man 1 and Rain Man 2 had it all figured out. You got that week and a half, so a lot of just get back to yourself kind of stuff, work on you too, but also work on some of the other stuff that we might see down there because you don't have much of a preparation for it.
And then we started Sunday with preparation for Lincoln Christian, and I thought that went well. I thought preparation-wise we were definitely ready to play.
I did not like the matchup because going back to the Lexington game, they're a lot like Lexington, and we struggled with that head down dribble drive offense type stuff.
And I remember having a conversation with T. Fred immediately on the floor at Hastings College after talking to a couple people. Said, yeah, my calculations, if Lincoln Christians win, we're going to draw them at state, be the 4-5 game. And T. Fred, first thing he said was, I don't like the matchup.
I definitely would like to see somebody other than Bubak. I knew that. I knew he was going to be a handful. He was so much better in the last month of the season than he was the first month. And I guess for us, the lesson that we try to preach all season long is every game's a state tournament game with wild card implications. And if we take care of business at Lincoln Lutheran on opening night, and we take care of business at Lexington, we're probably not in that boat. We're probably a 2 or 3 seed with a much better draw.
3 years ago, Grand Island Central Catholic was regarded by many as the second best team in Class A, despite taking home the 3rd place trophy. A semifinal loss to Winnebago cut short their goal of reaching the finals, but they conquered the Cavaliers of Bishop Newman in consolation play. Since then, it's been watch and wait as they couldn't get through the gauntlet of the postseason. They're back. This is Brian Gallagher as the KRTI Sports Network presents high school basketball. It's Grand Island Central Catholic and Lincoln Christian in the C1 Boys State quarterfinals in Lincoln. Now they turn back Lincoln Christian on their home floor in the December meeting. So the question is, which team will be able to get the win today and move on, and which one goes home? Coming into the matchup today, Grand Island Central Catholic is ranked 2nd by both the World Herald and Lincoln Journal-Star, but Lincoln Christian also in high regards, 4th by the World Herald, 5th by the Lincoln paper. So we're going to have a high-octane offense against a pressure defense to get things started here today.
Other keys to winning, number 1, is play without fouling. Play hard, but play intelligently. Don't overpressure and get a foul. Get set on your screens. Don't go over the back if you don't have a chance for a rebound. No silly fouls in the post. Show your hands. Play really hard and smart without fouling. Okay, we can't start racking up fouls and think we're going to be in the game in the end. Okay? Okay, and then finally 32 minutes of GICC basketball. Harder and smarter. Let's have a blast. But while we're doing that, let's kick some
while we're getting her done, okay? Crusaders on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Crusaders. Here come the Crusaders working quickly. Herbeck rather goes inside. Strong move, goes right to the basket, and it's an early 2-0 lead for Grand Island Central Catholic. Elmira answers at the other end with a 3, and we're tied at 5. Bounces low, Herbeck strong to the glass this time, waits for Bubak to sail by with a block try, and Jacob Herbeck has his second basket here in the early going. Shot from the outside, Martinez gets the soft roll and knocks in the 3. Already here in the first quarter, Central Catholic has put Lincoln Christian into the bonus.
Central's going to have to, change the way they guard a little bit. They like to get up, they like to pressure, they like to put their hands on. Some nights they get away with it, some nights they don't. Obviously this morning they're going to call it a little bit tighter here at the state tournament, so they're just going to have to make a quick adjustment.
Foul trouble. You might want to start a counter on my interviews for foul troubles. I mean, my goodness. But yeah, foul trouble. I think we had 3 of our starters sitting on the bench in the second quarter. 2 and 3 fouls.
Starters back on the floor for Grand Island Central Catholic. Jacob Herbeck strong inside. Draws the foul. What a great drop step by Jacob Herbeck. Elmira in the lane. Hits the jumper from just inside the stripe.
And the fouls are starting to stack up. The frustration starting to set in.
Eli Perney now with 2. That is the 10th foul on Central Catholic. We still have 5:42 left to play in the first half, so this is really adding up the wrong way for Central Catholic. Now we'll see what the Crusaders of Central Catholic want to do. Feed to the corner for Elmira. Gets to the free throw line. No open looks. Court left side. Fires. 3 is good! Peyton Court finds bottom. And Central Catholic extends the lead. Timeout by Lincoln Christian. Here's Elmira. Takes a look in the lane. And look at all those white jerseys looking like obstacles. Court's going to try it again. He's hit 2 in a row. He is feeling it now, baby. After trailing by 3 at the end of the first, they lead by 3 as they head to halftime.
Russell breaking his hand halfway through didn't help.
When we had the lead at half, I felt great going into the second half. I thought we were just fine with what little we played of our starters. I thought we'd be just fine.
And I mean, I look at our kids and they kind of feel helpless at that moment, and we don't have great answers. I mean, the only thing that we can do is, we got to get back to relying on technique. I mean, I think if we used better technique, maybe it would look less like a foul and things of that nature. So it always ends up back on us. So that is hard, but not to say that that's a very good refereeing crew. And I just don't think our style matches their style, and that was tough for us.
But execution the next 16 minutes, talking on the floor defensively, okay? Leave everything you have on the floor. Everything you have on the floor, okay? And play with some intelligence, fellas. Here we go.
Go, boys, let's go. Take it right to it right away. Head and heart, guys, head and heart.
Here we go. Crusaders, 1, 2, 3.
Crusaders.
Here's Court. He steals a rebound back for Grand Island Central Catholic off another miss. Court feeds the right corner. Elmira. Can he do it again? Yes, he can! Here's Peyton Court off the screen. Gets it to Martinez. Catch and fire 3. He got that one! Oh, you could just feel it as soon as it left his hand. 1, 2, 3. Here's Elmira along the baseline. Fouled in his way to the basket. His little stutter step creates huge issues for anybody trying to defend him.
Thought we were going to run away with it. Not even a minute. I really thought, as the lead was going up to 8, I was like, oh, this game is over.
And when we got up 39-31, I thought, Cal, we just get one stop. We're going to win this game.
And it looked like we were starting to cruise and going to blow them away, and things just switched on us. It just happened so fast.
The backbreaker was we substituted. It was a dead ball situation, and we had 2 or 3 guys rotate in, and I can't even tell you who was supposed to match up with Canfield. And they got down the floor and threw it to him in the deep left corner, and he hit a wide open 3 to make it 39-34. And then just after that, it was just they went on a run. It was 43-42, and after that it wasn't close. So
Bubak, he was a gamer, he's a player. We didn't have anybody stop him. They kicked our butts on the boards. They drilled us in transition. And we didn't get shots. We didn't get shots to fall. They shot 35 more free throws than us.
They said we fouled 36 times, 37 maybe. They fouled like 14 or 13 times. I kind of like, they had more points and free throws than they had buckets, so that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
We didn't hit any shots. We didn't stop transition, and they killed us on the boards. We didn't box out. We let Bubak just get whatever shot he wanted to, basically, and yeah, we just didn't play well. So probably one of our worst games of the season. That's like the worst time to have our worst game. And then once that fourth quarter got around, they like went on that 20-0 run where they went on. I could just kind of feel like the ball like shifting. We're like,
You say you see that snowball coming, but you don't see it rolling down that hill until it hits you, and it hit us hard, and that was not a good feeling.
I think once they came back and Bubak kept driving at us, I was feeling like we're kind of going down right now. I didn't really expect it to end on that night, so.
It's funny, I was actually just talking to Russ and Jonah about that, and I said, the worst thing is you just never know when you're going to lose. And that's the greatest thing about sports. It takes your emotions high and low, and it puts you all over the place, and it's a feeling you cannot describe with anybody else of how you really feel. And I mean, walking off, you still felt proud because we made the state. You felt proud for the kids for getting down there, but it's the worst hurt you have just because you're done with those kids, working with those 4 seniors.
Well, it's always one of the hardest. I mean, you've been in our locker room at the end. You've been in another. I'm sure Coach Tomlin, everybody has the same difficulties with, and it's not something you plan. I was fully planned on our walkthrough and shoot around later that day at Nebraska Wesleyan to get prepared for whoever we're going to play on day 2, and so you do. Yeah, I had to gather myself out in the hallway before going in to address them, and at that point, I think you just got to gather all the positive thoughts you can. At that point, it's no longer about what did we do wrong and right during the 32 minutes it's more about the last 4 years with seniors and being around these kids on a daily basis for so long. I'm not going to reflect much on the game today. I want to reflect more on the process and the journey that we had these past 12 months. I'm really appreciative of the fact that we end our season a year ago against Boone Central, and you guys are willing to get to work right away on the next process, on the next journey. And so, to a lot of people out there, they don't understand that. They don't understand that this thing started last spring with morning ball, some individual workouts, planning a great summer, you guys coming to camp, okay, with a willingness to work on June 5th. I talk to coaches that have a hard time getting their teams to work on December 3rd. You guys come on June 5th with a workman type attitude, okay? And that's why it's special to coach at our place. I tried to allude to that a little bit yesterday in the pep rally, okay? And I would say without a doubt that's the biggest misnomer, okay, amongst the people that are sitting in the stands supporting you, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But the things that we're able to accomplish, okay, are because of kids like you who are willing to go through that process. And we know that it's not an easy process, okay? It gets difficult at times, physically, mentally, okay? But you guys are always willing, okay? You're always willing to do that on a daily basis, and that's a special characteristic to have. That means you guys in life are going to have opportunities to be successful, okay? And that's why we see a lot of our kids that leave in 5-6 years. I mean, they're successful people because you guys developed that work ethic so young and commitment, and that's just why I enjoy being part of our school, part of our program. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to focus on is the journey. We had a lot of fun these last 12 months. We've had a lot of fun these last 12 months, okay? I mean, and that's what you guys are going to remember. Sure, we had some big games. We played well in those big games, okay? But I remember a lot of the little things, driving back and forth to Cedar Rapids this summer and all the goofiness that happens,
okay? Going to Gretna, the team camp, staying and having all the goofiness happen, okay? Those are things, okay, that you'll remember 10 years from now. Okay, no one's gonna remember that someone missed a three-pointer with 4 minutes left. You're gonna remember, okay, the stuff that is important. The friendship, the relationships, the camaraderie, okay? And the fact that, I say this all the time, my best friends in life, okay, have all been derived through some sort of sport. Whether I coached, I played with them, okay, in high school or whatever, okay, I've met them through sport as an adult, through coaching or whatever. Okay, these are gonna be, okay, important people to you guys for a long time. Okay, and I think you learn a little bit of dependability and responsibility through playing sports. Okay, and so that's what I want to focus on, okay, as we clear up here today. Okay, the other thing, okay, is our seniors. Okay, I have such an appreciation. It's always hard for me because I know you guys are moving on to bigger and better things, as you should. You guys are an amazing senior class. I mean, I'm not sure that academically, collectively, we've had, I know in the school we've had a lot, but I'm saying on one team here, it's kind of amazing what you guys academically, okay, do. Okay, and I'm extremely proud of that. We didn't have one grade list this year come out on Monday. We get a grade report from Mrs. Klein. Not one time didn't have basketball player on it. And I mean, in years past, we've had that trouble. So I appreciate that. You're doing the right things in the classroom. I didn't get a call from teachers this year, hey, can you talk to so-and-so? He was being disruptive in class today. I didn't have that. And that's important to me. I tell you guys at the beginning of the year, I don't want to see anybody on a grade report, and I don't want to have a phone call from a teacher that you're being boneheads in school. I didn't have that. That's important. But that's credit to you guys, not me. It's credit to you guys. Okay, so to a man, Jonah, Andrew, Myra, Dom. I had an embrace with you after the district final. And not a lot of people that leave our program come back to it. And I told you it meant a lot to me that you came back to it to be part of it. And I meant it. I meant it. Okay? Jonah, I don't know that, I don't think I was talking to Howard there. I mean, we've had a lot of players like you in the past. We celebrate those players like you. Okay? You wouldn't have, I think you know this, I'm not saying this to insult you because it's the biggest compliment I can give any player. You wouldn't have a place on a lot of teams, would you? Would you? But gosh darn it, you have a place on our program, don't you? I mean, your willingness to do the things that you do on a daily, I mean, that's special. And if our younger people, you don't watch him play and practice and playing the game and wonder, I mean, you don't think people say, God, you got Jonah Bales out of these fucking. Well, Jonah Bales does a lot of things nobody else can do. Okay, he can out-compete you like crazy. And that's important. So you guys can learn a lot from Jonah, okay? Andrew, I don't know if we were sitting here 2 or 3 years ago, you thinking you were going to be a contributor at the varsity level. Okay, and you stuck with it, didn't you? Played start JV as a junior. We say this a lot. There's a place for everybody. I mean, if you're willing to complete the process, okay, at some point you'll have an opportunity to contribute. And you were right there. You had some big games for us in big times. Offensive rebounding at times was your specialty. Okay, and so happy for you, not for me, so happy for you that a guy like you stuck it out the whole time, not knowing if it would ever pan out for you, did you? You and I had a talk in Gretna this summer. And I said, you're our X factor. First summer league game we had, you're our X factor. You and I had that conversation, okay? And you were great since then. And I appreciate that. Okay? Myra, we've been through a lot, haven't we? Huh? We probably. Regardless of what's happened in our past, I'm proud you stood out. Last year, a year ago, you wanted to walk away from basketball, didn't you?
teammates, Joan, I remember you texting me, don't let Myra quit. I'll pick him up. I'll make sure he's not with Skeeter. A lot of teams wouldn't have accepted you back. We embraced you. And once you got over that, you embraced the process. And I'm proud of that. Because the easiest thing wouldn't have been to walk away and go transfer to another school, wouldn't have been. That was the easiest thing that could have done. So you didn't take the easy path. Okay? But I'm proud of the guy that you are today. I don't think many people gave you the benefit of the doubt that you would be where you are today, doing the things you're doing. Okay? But I'm extremely proud of it. Again, a part of what makes our program special. A lot of people in that instance last year would be worried about, when Myra comes back, my playing time won't be there. Okay? That's why we have special kids, special families. Okay? Last thing I'll say is, we got some guys. The next 12 months, next 10 months are important for us. Jacob and Jack, you younger guys, Dilly and Caden. Peyton, next year will be your senior run at it. Are you willing to do what you have to do to get us back here? Okay, the last group made a commitment a week after the Boone Central game. Will you guys be the same? I think you will. I'm not trying to ask that question as doubt. I think you will, but the next process starts. We want to appreciate our guys that are leaving the program and wish them the best in their spring sports and graduation. And definitely, you can tell we're going to stay in touch. And you see all the alumni, I stay in touch with all of them. Okay, and so definitely you guys aren't leaving our life, taking a different role in our program, maybe more of a supporter as it is, but not leaving us. We're family, and always will be. The biggest thing I want to get through in those instances are how much I appreciate each one of them and how much I appreciate them willing to go through what you have to go through to be part of our program. And so I really wanted to relay that to them, that I love them and I appreciate the heck out of them for being willing to do that on a daily basis.
You always imagine when you go to the state tournament that you're going to cut down the nets and win. And I was sitting in the locker room just thinking, like, I played for like 3 years now. That went by so fast. Like, most people don't get to play 3 years, like, for their high school career, and I got to play 3 years and still have one more. So I was kind of locker room thinking that was pretty special. I feel like if we get back there, we'll win it.
Hail Mary,
full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at the hour of death. Amen. Mary, make your prayer for us.
Okay, let's keep our heads up, fellas. Okay, let's get Crusaders, and then we'll get our stuff gathered up. And parents can't come down here anyway, so we can talk to them as we leave the building out on the walkway. Okay, Crusaders on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Crusaders.
What? Say it out loud. Say it out loud. What? Now. Say what? Whatever you just got laughing about. Say it out loud. Hey, don't worry. It's on film forever. We got it forever. when all the girls you like come to the grand theater to watch, they're gonna, your only words of things are gonna be, my lord.